bomb off the runway of Bearsfield Air Base in England. Once smoothly in the air, the Liberator crew joins up with a dozen other planes in the strike package. A B-17 heads the charge, acting as navigator. Kennedy's suit black follows about a mile behind. Flanking the Liberator, 2 P-38s carry the mission commanders. 2 miles behind the drone, 2 PV-1 Venturas are the motherships, each carrying a radio control officer and the equipment necessary to steer the drone to target. 2 twin-engine de Havilland Mosquitoes fly recon. One checks the weather, the other photographs the mission. Another B-17 flies in trail, acting as a signal relay to ensure good communication across the English Channel. A flight of P-51 Mustangs scan the skies from a perch position, ready to head off the threat of enemy fighters. Kennedy heads for the British coast, where he and Willie will bail out after handing control over to the motherships.
Past Halsworth, Willie climbed out of the co-pilot's seat, started arming the aircraft and turning the television on. Meanwhile, Kennedy was preparing to turn control of the aircraft over to the PV-1 mothership.
Kennedy begins the handover procedure to the remote control of the mothership.
The PV-1 mothership's pilot then started maneuvering the B-cube drone to make sure all the systems were checked out, which they did.
At that point, the mission was a go. The PB-4Y was responding properly to the drone ship's control inputs. So at that point, Kennedy would have been preparing to bail out, and Willie was anticipating in a matter of minutes of arming the explosives, and the 2 men would bail out together.
But suddenly, disaster strikes. The radio control officer sees a glitch on his TV scope. The signal cuts out. Less than 1 second later, the explosion hits.
There was an initial detonation, immediately followed by a massive secondary detonation, when all 20,000 pounds of explosives went off. On the ground, trees were knocked down. Buildings up to 16 miles away were damaged. The concussion from the explosion knocked the entire formation all over the sky.
The cause of the explosion remains unknown to this day. But most likely a faulty circuit in the arming panel sparked one of the detonators on board. The first explosion triggered a chain reaction that made solving the mystery all but impossible.
The crash area covers 5 square miles, and the largest piece of Kennedy's plane measured less than a foot in diameter.
As a result of the dismal failure of the mission and the loss of Kennedy and Willie, Project Anvil is scrapped. Within weeks, the Allied army's advance into Europe brought the existence of the program into question.
The breakout from Normandy has already occurred. That was in July, and eventually all of the potential launch sites within range of southern England, especially London, were overrun by Anglo-American armies within a matter of weeks.
As Allied ground troops overtook the V-3 supergun site at Mimoyek, it proved the futility of the tragic Anvil mission. The bombed-out site had been abandoned weeks earlier.
There's a bittersweet aspect to Kennedy and Willie's sacrifice because the entire program essentially was too ambitious. It combined too many advanced technological concepts such as TV guidance and remote control to be successful in the limited time frame.
But Project Anvil and its Army counterpart would have a continuing legacy.
Militarily, it was not a success. Experimentally, it was a success. This was the start of remote control guided weapons, the use of television cameras, the use of control devices. Those were the precursors to the weapon systems that you have now that are being used currently in warfare.
Such was the case with most of the secret weapons of World War II. Their initial impact has been hugely overshadowed by their legacy of research, development, trial, and error. All of which paved the way for technologies of the future.